over 20 years. Our chief assessor, as you may know, is on a leave until the middle of January. So she presented all these numbers to the Division of Local Services before she took her leave. So she got them. She was the one that prepared them and presented them and got them all approved. All right, so thank you everyone for attending, and we're pleased to have members of the City Council and department heads of the City of Holyoke and anyone listening in online, members of the public. So the City Councilors have received the final certified values from the Department of Revenue, Division of Local Services, certifying the values for the City of Holyoke, and I'll be presenting the values of each class of property, the residential, and then commercial, industrial, and personal property. So fiscal year 2026 is an interim year adjustment for the City of Holyoke. During the interim year, values are adjusted according to the market. Sales from a full calendar year before are studied to determine what sales are considered arm's length sales. All sales that are not arm's length are not included in the sales analysis studies. Valid arm's length sales are verified and inspected. Class codes are changed according to the use of the property, and sales analysis ratios are determined. The ratios determine whether values increase or decrease. These ratios are applied to all properties of a certain class to either raise values or decrease values according to the market. Although we had fewer sales in the previous year, sale prices for 2024 continue to increase from 2023, and 2024 to 2025 they're increasing again, and especially in the 2 and 3 family classes. Personal property accounts are reviewed for appropriate listing and valuation along with the cost and depreciation tables. This year, a new company, Real Estate Research Consultants, provided services and audits of all personal property in the city, which resulted in finding new assets, underreported values, and new accounts. And the discovery of these accounts and undervalued assets contributed much to the new growth that is attached in the classification report. The report included shows the fiscal year 2026, the personal residential, or the residential property values are $2,568,308,000. Commercial property is $515,446,442. Industrial property is $87,218,413, and the personal property has jumped up to $83,920,880 for a total valuation of the City of Holyoke at $3,255,040,033. All right, so property values increased again for 2026. The single-family homes are driving the prices in the city, and they increased 8% this year. Commercial and residential, or commercial increased 2.6%, industrial increased 2.3%, and the big increase was personal property at 18.7%, and that was because of the research that was done by Real Estate Research Consultants. The total value of the city went up $217,882,626. The average single home value went up to $305,184. That's an increase of $20,000 over last year. Average two-family home value is $300,684. That increased to $22,059. And the percentage of residential to commercial and industrial property stayed almost about the same. Last year was 78.33%. This year it's 79.907%, so it's about a 0.5% jump. A copy of the levy limit calculation was included in the packet. The 2026 levy limit is $70,987,250. That's up $3,162,042 from last year. It calculates to a single tax rate of $21.81, and the levy may change or will change when the auditor completes figures on the tax rate recap. And according to what our chief assessor says, the city rarely levies up to the full amount. And All right, so the results of the levy is having a single tax rate. Our single tax rate, we said, would be 2181 based on those numbers, which can change. City Council may vote to shift some of the burden from the residential class to the commercial, industrial, residential property class by selecting a minimum residential factor or shift factor. This changes the single tax rate to a split rate. If the vote doesn't take place tonight, we'll continue the meeting until November 18th, where the shift factor can be voted on. And the Division of Local Services requested the vote be taken by December 1st. Last year it was taken December 16th, which made it harder for them to approve the numbers in a timely fashion. But what the numbers ultimately mean is that these values allow the City Council to shift the value, the full amount of 1.75% to the maximum allowable under law. And that figure is shown on the last page of your packet. So it's always early, so we can take questions at this point. Yep.
On page 3, it says the residential class increase. It says 896. It's not a percentage or anything like that. What does that mean? You have a commercial class increase of 2.8%. The residential class increase is 896, it says. There's no percentage there. One to the third page in, on the fourth page, I guess it is. This one here. The fourth page in,
Oh, all right. That one, all right.
at the bottom.
All right, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? Now I have the right page here
Yeah,
in
it
front of
says
me.
a residential class increase of 896. What does that figure represent? The commercial class increase is 2.8%.
It's 8%.
I have 8%.
8%.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, it looked like
Okay.
8.9 to me.
Right.
My eyes,
Okay.
sorry.
I'll just say, yeah, so last year, the residential class was $2,568,000, $1,454,000. Yeah, this year it went up to, or that was this year, and then last year was $2,379,000, $252,341, which was an 8% increase.
I'm sorry, it looked like
Okay, yeah.
896 to me. But
Yes.
once again, I have some optical problems.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. I had a question around where you said that the city had hired a company to provide services for all personal property in the city, and that had resulted in finding the new assets because they were underreported. One question is this a one-time new growth that we would expect? And how much of the new growth was that sort of one-time new growth?
The new growth was significant, so it will stay level at that amount each year. It's not going to keep going up that amount each year, and it was. Let me just get the report here.
So this new company, RRC, did an audit. So it's a new company we hired. So they did an audit and they discovered many accounts that we had. They discovered a lot of new personal property accounts. They went through the whole city. It was a team of.
Can you define what you mean by personal property accounts? When I think personal
Yeah.
property, I think someone owns a boat.
Yeah,
Like,
that's,
I think that's what I mean by
business
personal
person,
property.
somebody.
yeah. So
This
it's
is business personal.
business
okay.
business personal property. So it's anything that's like say not attached to their building. Anything they own, like their computers, their desks, their chairs, their files, their cabinets, and tangible item. Anything if they were moving that would kind of go in the moving van to their next spot.
Machinery, if they were
Machinery, yeah,
manufacturing?
machinery, yeah.
So if they're a restaurant, it would be like knives and kitchen stuff?
Ovens,
Knives.
refrigerators, right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, we don't have page numbers here, so, at least I don't. So could you be more specific when you have a question, if you don't mind?
Yes, so that question came from the description under summary of assessments, which is page 5 in our packet.
Okay, thank you.
Well, similarly, when I hear personal property, I think resident, I think individual, I don't think business. So that's very different than I would have imagined that meant. Thank you.
Yeah, the only residential, if the report is residential if you want a second home. So if like, you had a second home in Holyoke, you would be required to file a report. That's usually mostly just places on the Cape and the shore that normal regular residents have to file a personal property return. Well, yeah, the new growth, which is on in the fiscal year levy limit calculation shows there was, 1.457 million, but about $1 million of that was from the personal property audit. Yes, Dave.
Grant, just remind me, what is the tax shift that we have for fiscal year that we're in right now? What tax shift do we? So in other words, what's our residential and commercial rates?
Yeah, right now the tax rate for residential is $17.46 per thousand, and commercial industrial is $38.55 per thousand.
Okay. So if, and I look at this now, the tax shift will be 1.7450, and that would keep the residential 1746, and that would actually lower the tax rate for commercial to 3805. What I'm glad to see is that there are really no options for a tax shift to go over $40. That was always the bugaboo for years.
Right.
And now you're not even close to it. You said by law, the most could be 1.75. I think I heard you say that.
Right.
Okay, so that gives us some solace. So I just want to mention that. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's going to be my page 6. I numbered them from the beginning. The Holyoke Mall 2026 assessment is lower than last year. I'm just questioning why.
Part of the land valuation went down. The mall is, it was built on a landfill. They've got some serious sinkholes in their parking lot, and their parking garage is deteriorated. And also part of their tenancy is way down, and they're struggling. And Debbie, lowered it. Went down $1 million. It's gone down much more than that before. But the main problem is their parking facility.
Okay, thank you.
Just along that line, I'm very grateful to see all the work, and that would be considered personal property, or correct me if I'm wrong, all the paving that you're doing?
Yes.
Is that considered personal property, or is that something else?
That's the land. That's value of the land.
That's still value on the
Yeah.
land, okay.
Right.
All right, so they're resurfacing the whole ring. I don't know how, at least the east side, and then the ring seems to be being resurfaced. Now, I don't
Right.
know about the west side of the mall, but I don't see much happening over there. But at least they're making an investment, and we know they have we are glad to receive one very large tenant coming in for Christmas tree shops, because I think they're having a soft opening this weekend, which would be nice to
Yeah.
see.
The
So-
Christmas tree shops?
No, in the space there was a Christmas tree
Oh,
shop.
okay.
Yeah, I know that they were banking on pickleball making a big splash.
And
too, but-
that's what's going in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're taking up the whole entire space for the Christmas tree shops that
Right.
what was located. And, but you mentioned the mall's assessment you mentioned their tenancy. What does that have to do with the assessment, if anything? I thought I heard you
Yeah, it's
say.
it's part of the value, and the mall is just not as desirable a place to have a business, which has affected the value.
But the
the
tenancy
property.
wouldn't affect the assessment, would it?
That was no, but I know it was part of the overall assessment of that.
Yeah,
that read at
possibly.
the meeting,
Okay,
yeah.
so it may be
Yeah.
maybe a partial factor. And they've returned several times for abatements over the years, have they not?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, so Carolyn,
Every year they file for debate.
Carolyn, they have. Okay, they have done that. And Carolyn, you probably should talk into the mic too, just to make sure that, just to be sure about that. Okay. Well, I mean, I think this is really well done, so I really appreciate you guys' work. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you both very
Okay.
much
That was
for
easy.
coming
Conclude
in.
the meeting.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, thank you.
No, I watched the video from last year and, yeah. Yeah. Yes. Fades to black. And we'll resume for our regularly scheduled meeting at 7.
All right. Thank you both.
Guys.